Hugh Hewitt inside the ReliefFactor.com studio inside a beltway that will be rainy all day long, but it will not depress my spirit because I see a world reopening and economy restarting. The dark side of the world is in Hong Kong, where the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party jackbooted thugs, are marching in and imposing martial law, and banking and finance should be fleeing the city. More on that later today. Senator Lindsey Graham will be joining me about that. You may have been among the millions like me eagerly anticipating the takeoff of SpaceX launch from Florida yesterday, canceled over bad weather. That is a routine thing for people my age, around 60, who can remember in the days when the nuns would reel in the television and Walter Cronkite would be on. Sometimes the launch would be scrubbed late. That's safety protocol, safety first. So we'll do it again on Saturday, and more people will be able to watch. And that will mark a very good day in contrast to yesterday, where we passed 100,000 deaths in the United States from COVID. The virus taking quite a toll over 3 months, and around the world it continues to rage, though every indicator here is that it is on the run. Let me begin with, I normally wait to the second segment to do the market report, brought to you by Birch Gold, which you can find at hughgold.com or text my name, Hugh, H-U-G-H, to 474747. You can buy gold from Birch Gold. You can especially reallocate your 401k, your retirement funds, a portion of them. I believe in diversification to Birch Gold. Maintain and secure funds, physical gold in a depository. They have 5-star ratings out the wazoo. They know how to take care of it. They explain it all to you. Just text my name, Hugh, to 474747. And the markets, again, like yesterday. The Dow was up another 553 points. The NASDAQ was up 72 yesterday. The S&P was up 44. This morning, we don't know how the day ends in the United States, of course, always, but we do know what happened abroad as my show commenced on the morning of Thursday, August the 28th. We know that Japan is up 2.33% this morning, which is a rocking day on the Japan Stock Exchange. We know that England and Germany are both begun the day, and they're both in green territory. We know the 10-year Treasury dropped just a touch to 0.68%. That means great mortgage rates. What about gold? Well, gold skipped up almost 0.75% yesterday to 1723. I told you yesterday was a great day to enter, and I still believe this recovery is going to be so rocking that inflation will follow. And I believe you want to be in gold when inflation hits. So if you want to diversify with Birch Gold, go to hughgold.com or text my name, Hugh, H-U-G-H, to 474747. Get the information, because the recovery, friend, you can't deny it. Walk outside, drive outside. Economic activity is returning to normal. I love the Dan Henninger column this morning in the Wall Street Journal. Now, Dan is one of the country's very finest writers, and his column this morning is entitled After the COVID Apocalypse. And it begins this way: the threat in March of COVID-19 apocalypse worked. From coast to coast, the $21 trillion U.S. economy essentially shut down. Today, in all 50 states, the experience with coronavirus has peaked, plateaued, or fallen, and the time has arrived to start identifying lessons learned. The past week's events have revealed one rule of thumb. Whether the order comes from political leaders, epidemiologists, or the media, you can get away with forcing the U.S. to shut down for about 3 months. That's it. Then the tides of human nature will push past the voices of authority. For better or worse, that's just the way it is. Dan is right. People are done. They are done. And they're going to go out. They know the risks. And people who are older with asthma are not. And people who have to protect mom and dad and grandma and grandpa are not going to let their kids get near them. But the swimming pools are going to open, I hope. And then you're going to see kids playing basketball at the local basketball place, because you know what? They might get sick, but they're going to be isolated from grandma and grandpa, and they're not going to carry it home. And some people, yes, will continue to die, even as they continue to die from cancer and heart disease and everything else. The virus is here to stay until the vaccine arrives, but the therapeutics are better and the hospitals are ready. The shutdown has done its job. We have a job to do in Minneapolis. I am on AM 1280. The Patriot. I have never had other than a great exchange with Minneapolis police, and I've actually had quite a few of them. because I have every other year, whenever I'm invited by Jay Larson, I go up and broadcast from the great Minnesota get-together, the Minnesota State Fair, don't you know? 1 in 8 Minnesotans come down there, and they have pies. They have great French fries and chocolate chip cookies. I took Dwayne one year, and he was even more useless as a producer because all he did was eat the French fries, the cookies, and the other frozen stuff and fried stuff. I love the State Fair. Someday they'll invite me back. AM 1280. Ed Morrissey has blockaded me. Jay Larson won't let me come. I don't know why, but I love the State Fair. And I love the Minneapolis police, who must wait all year long for those 13 days of glory. It's more like 17 days, where they sit at the entrance of the fair and wave people in. I mean, it is a cush job. So I have never had a bad experience with Minneapolis police, but wow, did they murder George Floyd. Murder's a strong word. I've watched all the videos. An officer of the Minneapolis Police Department murdered George Floyd. And it appears that the first reflex of the Minneapolis Police Department was to cover it up. They did. Now that's all fallen to hell, and the Hennepin County attorney, who used to be named Amy Klobuchar, but isn't anymore, Amy Klobuchar went to the Senate, hasn't yet begun, but the FBI has been urged by President Trump to step in. It's a shocking video. More on that later today. The biggest story of all, of course, China is jackbooting Hong Kong. China votes to override Hong Kong's autonomy on national security, is the Wall Street Journal headline. China approves plan to impose national security laws on Hong Kong, is in the Financial Times. All over the world knows that Hong Kong is no longer free, and banking and capital should flee that place to Singapore. Property values are going to plummet in Hong Kong. No one's going to want to live there. No one's going to want to visit there. Even when the virus is over, those shops are done. You can't pretend to have a free city. It's not free. It's just another of Xi's playthings. I mean, Xi has turned into the worst leader. He's like Sun Yat-sen in his failed ambitions. He's like General Chiang Kai-shek in ruining China. He's no Mao. He's certainly not Deng Xiaoping. He is the worst of the leaders that they've had, and in doing this, and in fighting a war, getting ready to fight a war in India to try and divert people. Everybody in China knows. They whisper. They're afraid of the guy. He's like Erdogan times 100. He's like Putin times 1,000. And we know that. President Trump is drafting an order that could limit protections for social media companies. What that means, basically, is they don't get Section 230 protection. If they're going to be newspapers, that's different from being bulletin boards. You know, the bulletin board at school where everyone puts everything up that they want, buy a couch, get a job. I use those bulletin boards for my most famous practical joke ever, which I may or may not tell you about. But in any event, Twitter's a bulletin board, Facebook's a bulletin board. When you start to publish on there, you start to edit, you start to comment, you start to editorialize, it's a newspaper. And when it's a newspaper, it loses many of the protections. Then it becomes liable for the slanders that appear. It becomes liable for the horrible, reckless truths that are told. It becomes liable for the disinformation. Well, Twitter, you started to editorialize, that's what you're going to get. Pentagon is preparing plans for President Trump. He's going to order more thousands of troops out of Afghanistan. I'm going to play that as well, discuss that as well with Lindsey Graham later in the show. And Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy. Go to MyPillow.com. He's a great conservative, great Christian man. Use my term, Hugh. You get the best price going. Better than anyone else. Better than Gallagher, certainly. But you go to MyPillow.com. He is profiled in the Washington Post today. Is the MyPillow guy the future of the Republican Party, or is he just dreaming? I don't know if he's the future of the Republican Party, but Mike Lindell is one of the world's great people. He is a bundle of recovery energy. He's a former crack addict turned successful entrepreneur. He's been on the show a number of times. He's a sponsor of the show. I love the guy. And they also make the best pillows in America, the best sheets in America, the best head covers in America, the best airplane rests in America. Go to MyPillow.com, type in the word Hugh, H-U-G-H. Get the best deal at MyPillow. And go to WashingtonPost.com, type in Mike Lindell, and you'll find just a terrific profile of a terrific human being. MyPillow.com. That's where you go to get the best and to support Mike Lindell. Of course, the snide elites will mock him. I love the guy. A believer who's unafraid of the gospel, and he gives you a good product to boot. Better when you use my name, Hugh, at MyPillow.com. Stay tuned.